to the phones, calling from a 310 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Sam. This is Samer from New York. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Who's this, Samer?
Yeah, Samer.
Okay.
It's an Egyptian name. I usually go by Samer, but I thought of giving you my real name. Now, have you listened to Joe Rogan on Friday?
No.
All right, so he had a guest. I don't know him, but maybe you do. Tim Pool, and he said the Green New Deal, it included economic security for people who are not willing to work.
That's correct.
This is correct?
Well, it speaks to people. For instance, I can tell you that the chief of staff, AOC's chief of staff spoke to this. There are instances, right? Let's say you are 55 years old, and you're a minor.
Okay.
You're a minor, and you're starting to contract black lung disease, and you stop working because or the coal business, let's say, is drying up. You're 50 years old. Let's just say that. Coal business drying up. You're 50 years old, 55 years old. It is conceivable, and I think quite justifiably, that someone that age living in West Virginia thinks, I'm not going to be able to find a new job. I'm not going to go into some type of training program because it offers training also for these folks, where I'm going to go and learn some other trade at age 50, and I'm not going to find any new work. I think providing support for that for folks like that, if they, they'll say, all right, I'm going to go do some part-time work or whatnot, but that's not going to sustain them, obviously, right? I mean, you can't live on that. I think providing, I think providing material support. I think providing material support for them is worthwhile. I think it addresses an important reality that, in the context of this business, I mean, like this. Imagine it juxtaposed to the idea of Medicare for all. A lot of people have made a lot about there's going to be 2 million people put out of work if we go to a single payer system because the private insurance industry is going to go away. The private insurance industry is going to go away, but wait a second, Samir. But all those people who work, not all, but the vast majority of those people who work on administrative things dealing with health insurance are going to find new work in the context of Medicare for all. And this is not the same as having a specific skill like I'm a coal miner. How am I going to transition at age 50? You're going to have to provide support for these people. And for some, it's going to be job retraining. And for others, it may just be early retirement. I mean, we see the buyouts all the time, right? I mean, this is how we see Ford offering buyouts to engineers because they're not going in a certain direction with a certain type of thing that they're developing. People take buyouts. And so this is basically a buyout for, coal miners or people who are engaged in some of these fossil fuel businesses that are going out of business. That's all.
No, but there is a difference between people who are put out of work because of automation or because the industry went away and they are too old to be retrained, in which case these people are not able to work, not unwilling to work. The wording when you say they are for people not willing to work, it's as if those are young, healthy people who just do not want to work and they will get money from the government. This is what the wording means, unwilling. If you are willing to work, but your skills are no longer in need, and you are 50 or 55, this is not a situation where you be labeled as unwilling to work.
I mean, I guess. I mean, that's the language they chose. Maybe they could have chosen better language, but that's the idea behind it.
It's like you cannot make Fox News happier. But, this is a stupid choice of wording. That's what I think. It should not be because I understand the concept of universal basic income and that there are people who will be put out of work and they will have no chance of earning, an income, and they're too old, or they don't have a college degree. And but the idea is this: if these people are able to make a living, then they will not be in need of the government.
Can I ask you a
The idea
question?
Sure, go ahead.
How many jobs do you work? More than one job yourself?
I work 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah. So does
I'm a
just
hard
the
worker.
frame of it just kind of offend you because of how hard you're working, on some level?
No, no. I've been in times when
Yeah.
I could not work, and I understand. And you can get fired from a job, or I'm an Uber driver, so if I
Right.
lose my license today, I'm fucked. So I understand that there are times, and it does happen, that people can be in need, and if I get a medical injury, I will never be able to work for the rest of my life. For example, if I'm in a wheelchair or something, it's not that, but it's the idea of the wording of being, willingness. That if you're not willing to work, this is not the same as not able to work.
Yeah,
There is a big difference.
okay.
Here, I wonder. I may be projecting on you, but I just know, like, even people that, like, in my family who are 100% on board with all of these policy sets, 100%. And there's something about that kind of word choice, given their own sort of work backgrounds.
My understanding is that that is that wording is from. I mean, this is according to The Hill on Saturday. That the what was being floating around with that language was an early draft of an FAQ that I don't think is in part of the resolution, but I'll dig into it. But the concept is people who are, it's not quite unable to work, but look, you can't be an Uber driver necessarily in coal country and make anything close to a living. I it's getting increasingly harder to even do it in New York. But so there's, I think that is what it's addressing, but I'll look into it.
And I think the man clearly is not opposed to the merits of it. I do think
Appreciate the call.
that language, for whatever it is worth.
No, I'm not opposed to
Yeah, of course
universal
not. I know.
basic income, but
Yeah.
I really think the wording and the concept go
Yeah,
hand in
I'm
hand.
not sure the
So
wording. Let me double check on this, Samir.
People are not-
Okay, Samir, listen. Let me check the wording.
Doesn't look like the word unwilling appears anywhere in this document.
Okay, so I mean, what was being spread around was an
That was
early
a lot.
draft of the FAQ that was basically a shorthand for saying folks who are in a predicament where they don't have a physical malady, but they do have a malady. They don't have a physical malady, but they do have basically it. They just think it's going to be too difficult. It's a buyout, essentially.